Well, good morning and welcome to this one-on-one coaching session with Coach Bey. I'm here with my partner, Danielle. Welcome, Danielle. And today we'll be speaking with a gentleman you know very well. Actually, it's me. So I'm going to be doing a personal one-on-one coaching session with myself to work through some questions, challenges, and trustfully work through with Bakar to a breakthrough. So Bakar, why don't you join us and why don't you start off by just letting us know a little bit about why you decided to schedule this call and what are you hoping to gain out of this session with us today? All right, give me a moment just to get into character. So I scheduled this call today because man, I really feel like I'm on the edge of a breakthrough. And as exciting, as exhilarating, as enjoyable as this year has been for me, there's definitely some challenges that have come with moving into the coaching space, better understanding my worth, my value, my what I could offer to those. Uh, the last few years also have dealt with some just personal and financial challenges that I'm working to not let not allow them to become obstacles or issues that get in the way of me actually serving the people that I'm here to serve, that I'm called to serve. And so scheduled this call really to work through what those specific issues are, and trusting and hoping that you'll be able to help and guide me through those, through some of those questions that if I have a hard time dealing with on my own. All right, Bakar, perfect, wonderful. As I'm listening to you, is there anything else, anything specifically that you would like to address or like to uh, really leave here? Anything tangible that you feel like you could leave here with today that would be really, really valuable in this session? I think that's funny that you asked that because working on the tangible aspects, I mentioned my financial challenges of the last couple of years. Working on like tangibly producing has been one of my biggest struggles. And so, man, what could I do? So if I could leave here with tangible, something tangible, some sort of way, a plan, a strategy, or something that I could do regularly or consistently in order to, hmm, I don't know, take better care of myself and my clients, or to really model. So I don't know if that's something tangible, but if there's any way that I could leave with an idea of what it would be like to model that which I'm working to put forth, like I said, for my personal life as well as for my business. All right. So what I'm hearing is a plan or some sort of model to work from in order to guide you in your journey moving forward. Awesome. So let's dive into your discovery questions, and I really love this part of the process because I often find that what's initially on someone's mind when they come into a session like that may not be the same things that they were thinking about. So I love to ask specifically, like, what are you feeling at the moment? Would give you the best value out of the session. But our first question, and I just asked share anything that'll help me understand what you like to accomplish, and you said you'd like to overcome some of those mental blocks of trauma of your past that have contributed to your current financial insecurity and allow you to do what you love to do and live an amazing purpose-filled life in doing it. So I want to pull out a few elements from this part of conversation. Let's just start with the mental blocks or the trauma. Either or you can begin with, but what mental blocks or trauma are you working through or dealing with at the moment? The biggest one is my self-image. The biggest challenge is a block is seeing myself today as like an undeveloped version of the vision that's in my mind. All right, so like when I look in the mirror, I realize like where I'm going, how I see myself, how I see the rest of my life playing out. Um, there's a huge gap. It feels like there's a huge gap between where I am and where I'm going, and that can be a challenge sometimes because what's inside of me isn't necessarily always showing on the outside, and uh, it's caused me to feel insecure at times. It's caused me or contributed to me you know not trusting what I could do for others. I'm a very, very, very unassuming person. So, but I'm not oblivious, like unassuming, but also I say very self-aware. I realize, one of the biggest things that I'm working through and have been working through for a number of years, probably say the last decade, were feeling in my own blind spots. And so, this showing up here today is one of those opportunities for me to fill in some more blind spots, to see what I don't see about me, to deal with, these self-image challenges um, that may be out of my own field of vision. That I don't see myself the way others see me. I'm with me all the time, and so I know, the challenges and struggles and things that I've gone through. And the same token, I have the faith and confidence to know that where I'm going is, in my faith and in my belief, like it's ordained. Not that it's predetermined, like I don't have any free choice in it, but um, predestined in the sense that whatever roads I take is going to get me there because of my determination, because of my resolve, because of other gifts and talents that God has placed in me. That I'm not moving from that. So looking in the mirror and seeing is what feels like an underdeveloped version of myself at times makes me feel like I'm not giving my all to those that I'm there to serve, and especially if it's not showing on the outside. Wow, yeah, that's a lot to unpack, and two things really stood out to me about what you shared there, Bakar. One, you said that your challenge is with self-image, right? Seeing yourself the way that others see you, and secondly, filling in the blind spot, seeing the sides or the pieces of you that you don't see, that that you um, or you may not know, that you're unaware of, right? So there's things that we know, there's things we know we don't know. And then there's that triple blind spot where, we don't know what we don't know about ourselves. And it sounds to me like you're really, really focusing on the things that you don't know about yourself. So I'd like to ask a question. Do you feel like people are judging you based on, the value that you produce, or judging you based on your material representation? I do. I do feel judged. Um, and I don't know why. I don't know why. And maybe it's because I'm such a there it is. I'm such a like I do so much self-evaluation and self-assessment that much of my life is spent critiquing who I am or what I'm not, because I'm constantly measuring myself against like this perfectly, evolved, enlightened version of myself. Um, this the destination. I'm thinking about the destination showing up as the destined version of me instead of really embracing the version of me that can offer what I can offer in this journey. And, just thinking about, my childhood, there were times where I felt like, I think one of the main things that I felt value around, I was often celebrated for being like smart, talented, gifted, right? And so showing up, as smart or intelligent and talented and gifted and being able to show off or share those things, you know, I imagine they seeped in, and I feel some sense of validation or you know self-worth associated with being recognized for the gifts and talents that I have. uh, and I focused a lot of time and energy on developing myself and my gifts and my intellect, and really enlightening myself, because that's really something that drives and inspires me, is like this journey of enlightenment, right? To reach oneness with my creator, to see the world, to see life as a creator sees it, and to be able to see and move in that energy. um do you do you feel like there's a lot of pressure that's on you, Bakar, to show up? And earlier you mentioned like you want to leave here with a model. Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure to be a model for others in that respect? I do. One of the challenges one of the first challenges our parents ever laid out for me was to be like to take care of our siblings. I have four siblings, and our parents always said take care of your brothers and sisters. And me being the fourth of five, only responsibility I had was my little brother, and so he became my full focus. And some of the teachings I find that foundational teachings and instructions for children are like to consider you're a parent, the importance of your trust, the being thou has produced, it is thy duty to support. And later on in life, or I thought about that as well. A time will come when my parents aren't there for me. So who then becomes that parent? And I realized, man, to some degree, I have a responsibility to be that parent to myself. Like all of the lessons, instructions, my sense of worth and utility to communities is another major thing. Those were responsibilities that I had to take on for myself. So taking ownership, in a mind of a juvenile, right? Taking ownership for myself was something that was really something that really empowered me. Is just being aware that eventually I've got to take over and be able to provide and produce uh, for myself in order to reach that end goal. And as I'm sitting and thinking about it right now, I definitely feel that that theme, that thought of being, I just lost it, but being the one to provide or produce for myself. And last few years, finding myself in a position where I wasn't able to do that to the level and degree that I imagined, by putting a whole lot of stock in doing things someone else's way, right? And doing things my own way. I think that's one of the things I mentioned was that I'd love to live, an amazing purpose-filled life, doing it my way, like do what I love to do and live an amazing purpose-filled life. But early on in life, there was this responsibility. It was just like, your life isn't yours completely. Like, you're responsible for you and for others. You're responsible for you and for others. All right, I want to come back a little bit to the present from there. So, feeling like you're responsible for yourself and others. Uh, what are some of the challenges that you're dealing with or dealt with recently, as far as taking care or taking personal responsibility for yourself? Well, uh, man, well, it starts with 4 years ago. Back in 2017, and I'm not gonna tell you the whole story, but today it's translated to being really, really selective or resistant to working a job, because one of the things that I learned in the last 4 years was that my time is mine, and I'd been dedicating and giving so much time to other people's way of doing things, other people's dream, other people's business or occupation, that I kept putting myself second. And then when everyone showed me how much they valued me, and what I mean, like, ex-fiance left me, job fired me, and I didn't have a reliable way to provide for myself, and I didn't have a partner or supporter there in my corner. When it all fell on me, it was like that parent Bakar had stopped taking care of that child Bakar, and that child Bakar didn't know what to do. Right? Like, I found myself literally in a place where, you know, the adult me knew, okay, I have skills, I have talents, but like, this is a whole new world, and I'm starting, like, from infancy and establishing a new life where 24 hours out of the day, I have to make the decisions on how I spend that time and energy, and take care of basic needs. And it's been like a slow, steady uphill climb. So, Bakar, where do you feel like you are in that journey today, as far as taking care of, that, taking care of yourself, taking care of that child? Well, today, I still greatly depend on, my family. I still greatly depend on support from those around me. After about 2 years in Atlanta, I moved back to home, Richmond, Virginia, and staying at my parents' place. And one of the things I know about, building good habits is environment really matters. I stayed away from home for a long time and never expected to come back, because I knew I needed to create an environment around me that was going to support, the dream and the direction I'm going. And that's been a bit of a struggle. That's been a bit of a challenge. Like, um, I established, one room, and then was moved out of it without my consent. And I didn't feel empowered. I didn't really feel like I have a space. I felt like I was still in my parents' home. Right. And so their rules were law, but they sometimes conflicted with my own rules and values. And so my resolve that, I'm gonna find a way out of this way. I'm gonna find a way out of this hole that I've dug myself in, financially. I'm going to find a way where I'm not sacrificing or giving my time back to people, places, things, causes that aren't serving me and my mission, that aren't serving me and my purpose. Uh, and I've had to really almost, I've had to put up, boundaries or barriers. I don't want to say lock myself in my room, but I've closed myself off from a lot of those influences in the place that I'm in, because they it's not that they didn't love or support me, but there was an understanding of what I had given up to this point, and what I was fighting for. Right. So every day I'm fighting to, like, to own my time, because I know for me, like that's what's most valuable, is owning my time, and being able to choose and decide my path from here forward. Okay. All right. So I definitely, I can feel, the size of your world right now, like, and knowing your history and knowing your past a little bit. um, I definitely want to bring it into focus. Like, bring, just take a moment and focus on this moment that we're in right now. Focus on this moment that we're in right now, and I want you to think about, what are the key things, what are the essential things, what are essential things, or what are your essential needs at this moment to be able to show up in the way that you might show up in a self-image that you're going to be excited and proud of. Right? I'm watching time. Okay. What do you feel like you need? What are your essential needs that would help you to show up, as that great version of yourself that you know you are, that would be, able and willing to provide, produce, and take care of, the basic needs of that child who essentially seems like had everything ripped or stolen away? What are your basic or essential needs in that space? All right. So, you know, the basics, food, clothing, shelter. I've got clothes, at times because of finances, and some other, you know, conflicts or differing values in the home. Uh, I felt a little bit of food insecurity. Right? Like, I never wanted to get in a battle for, but any over food. But for me, like, I don't like to waste, and that's not just, I just don't like to waste, right? And so, I'm very intentional about, like, proportions and what I eat generally. I do like to eat when I need it. Sometimes I'll snack throughout the day, but food insecurity was one of those. So, definitely having food insecurity. Um, of course, having protection, having a roof over my head. There were definitely times where, living in Atlanta, if not for the grace of a few friends or partners, like, I was really concerned, that I might find myself on the street. I knew I could come home. I knew family probably would never let me fall to a place like that. But in my mind, like, that's where I was. That's where I was. And so today, definitely having, food, shelter, clothing, and I think one of the big things would be, the freedom to move, transportation. I had an incident where, my car was totaled, and I had to really rely on my family to get around and do the things to work my previous business, uh, which is part of why I switched to a model of what I'm doing now in a business where I um I can work from home. I can work from just about anywhere and need not need to go anywhere. So, like, really, so it sounds like you kind of built this life in this box, in this box that you're in, or in this space that you find yourself, right? Where your basic essential needs are, or are not being met. Um, and that's creating some conflict with how you show up. Would you agree with that? That's creating some conflict with how you show up. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really what I'm here to, is like, how do I get past? How do I work past that insecurity when, like, I can see what's in me, but it's not showing outside of me. Okay. So let's start, and I'm just gonna pause that I just want to speak that we're at a critical point here with Bakar where it feels like we're here present with him. We understand a little bit about his backstory, but we want to keep him in the moment, and working to resolve, and take ownership of where he is today, why he's there, and really begin to build him up. Really want to build him up in this moment, not throw a pity party, not, you know, be reactive or anything with him, but absolutely just want to listen, to continue to learn, but really build him up in this moment, because we can see here that, the challenges with self-image, the resulting financial issues, as well as the environment that he finds himself in, isn't necessarily the environment that is going to continue to support him in that self-image, right? So from here, I'm going to work and redirect the car into a space where we'll begin to empower him on what actions, what steps that he could take to be able to shift his image, and also release a bit of the judgment that I sense that he's feeling for not being a better parent to himself, or maybe not foreseeing the challenges that he encountered or endured, not being prepared for them. And even in the sense of where he spent time, or he felt a strong responsibility to take care of his siblings, there seems to be a lot of guilt that when he became the parent for him, when he became, independent or self-sufficient at some point in his life, that he put himself in a position to lose that he put him and his family, let's say him and his family is Bakar and the younger version of himself, but as well as, maybe his partner, his mate, right? Put themselves in a position where he wasn't able to fulfill his duty, that promise, that long-standing resolution from a young age to take care of your siblings, right? Like he feels like he may be feeling like he failed in that part of the mission. And so we want to do some work with him and go back and rebuild him in that agreement. All right. So Bakar, I want to ask you, you talked about those challenges. You talked about some of the challenges that you're dealing with today. And I really would like to help you as we work through. I mean, you had a lot of stuff in here, right, about your business, but I think it's really, really important that we stay focused in this moment, this zone, about your self-image, and your self-care. So let me ask you, in the last 30, 60, 90 days, what are some things that you've done to improve or enhance your image? Well, as I'm I like I have my accountability group. So just showing up there, I realize, man, people are watching me every day. And that's been really helpful, is just having accountability there. That's part of the reason that I started the accountability group this year, is I knew that I had to get out of my own head and get in front of people who, or maybe not get in front of people. I knew that I needed accountability for myself. I needed to show up in community in some way every day, multiple times a day. And so, my accountability group has been there for me. Has been huge, because it is a place that I really feel like I could be my authentic self, that I could show up. It's a really safe space, no judgment. Yes, I do feel like people are depending on me for, leadership and guidance. And that reflection of me does actually build me up. It challenges me, encourages me, like creating, like realizing that I am dependable, I am reliable, that I must show up, and I must continue to grow as well. And so, if I'm on camera for 3 months or 6 months or a year and I'm still looking the same, like I'm not modeling anything good for others, and I'm definitely like modeling anything for myself. So accountability group is one. It's just having a place that I can show up and be me, and really just have to like literally look in the mirror and be like, okay, Bakar, like this is not how you wish to show up today. It really is just like a mirror to me every day. But it's also a place, like I said, because there's no judgment in that room, that when I look at myself, I'm like, man, this is just what I got today. This is what I can give today. But also being mindful that, man, if I could give more, like give it, right? If I can give more, even, so that's one thing. Another thing that I've done, I got a girlfriend, a partner, and she took me shopping. She took me shopping and just kind of looked and was like, "Yo, you need to upgrade, right?" And so went out and got some clothes and things like that. And that's not something that I would normally do for myself, right? That's not something that's been like I've had clothes for a long time. But just going out and getting some new gear, and looking at myself and seeing myself a little differently. It started with like her wanting to see me differently, right? But I wasn't opposed to it. I might have had some resistance, like, clothes is clothes. It's not a big deal to me. But it's kind of like I mentioned earlier. It really is one of those essential needs, right? Like just being able to take care and treat yourself without worrying about what's this going to affect financially and things like that. So like those are things, and even as a child, like things that you don't take responsibility for, things that your parents um, do. So would you say being able to do those kind of things for yourself is really helping you to sense and feel like, you know, you're a better parent than maybe you're judging yourself to be? Well, it definitely shows me that I can be, but it hasn't been something that I've taken ownership of. Like I completely given up ownership of taking care of those basic needs, because I didn't, like I said, I felt like that little scared child. Like I'm out here in the dark, on the cold. I got nowhere to go but to God. And you know, in that vacuum, in that space, it is, man, it's scary. It really was scary. Like having to find parental figures to rebuild me in an identity that, some 31 to 35 years like didn't get the attention. 31 to 35 years was misled or misguided, in what was valuable or most valuable to me. And a number of those years I was out on my own. So that was kind of the craziest part. Was like, I made these decisions that got me here. And like, um I've had to really, really work at forgiving myself for those. But back to your questions, I don't want to lose focus. So start an accountability group to show up, and really challenge myself to show up as a better version of myself than, just sitting around and thinking about how I want to be. So it's really driven me to take action. Having a partner support, who sees things in me that I don't maybe pay attention to, and brings my awareness or attention to, okay, you know what, once I see myself like in those things, whether it was just a new pair of shoes, or, I went and I got me some, the 120 gear, the cap. And that was one of the things that I could put on. It was just like, all right, I could put on my cap and I can be a coach, right? Like it was just, it put me in a mindset. Um, and I didn't even realize how much those small investments in myself, um, built me up. I wasn't even paying attention to that kind of thing. Just like being able to get around was kind of a next level, right? When I lost my car, it was so hard for me to, I I want to redirect because you're in a good place, and we don't want to lose that momentum right now. So you've got the accountability group, you've got, you know, personal self-care. What about your diet, your food? Unfortunately, you know, for me teaching, um, was able to create some stable income for a while where, you know, I'd go out and I'd hit the grocery store, you know, once a week. And that's always kind of been challenging, you know, just keeping what I like to eat and what I need for my body, because that's something I paid attention to for a number of years. And so just being able to have like the fruits, the veggies and proteins around me that, you know, feed my body in the way that I want to be fed and not really dependent on anybody else. So yeah, just, yeah, it's crazy. Just like being able to get groceries, you know what I mean? Buy clothes and have a roof over your head, um, and a space and really like the freedom to move in that environment, you know, in alignment with your own values. Those have been, you know, some of the key steps, as well as being in community with people, you know, who are growing and progressing and moving. Um, and just being able to do that without, you know, feeling guilt about how and why I got here. But just being able to take ownership of where I am today is the best pivot I could have made. Right. Right. That, you know, on God, he put family and support around me as a child to take care of me for the years that, you know, I wasn't able to take care of myself. And so it did take some time to be able to grow in that. And I think that's, you know, one of the things as adults, like when we're just kind of thrust into adulthood, you know, we have to start taking on things that we probably never exercised or practiced, right? Like when I first started earning money, like it wasn't to take care of myself. It was like to contribute to the house. So even then, it wasn't something that was directly feeding into me. And I had to make decisions later on, like choose what to do, how much to make, you know, and stuff like that. And that's really where I find myself, is taking ownership of all the decisions that I think were kind of made for me. And that's really like that space between the parent and the child. Like that child is always gonna need care, gonna need protection, gonna need basic things. And so I gotta take that on. Oof.
You're doing great. You're doing
That's
so good.
crazy. Like I don't even have children. um I don't even have children because it's been just like I've wanted to be so intentional. Like I guess I want so bad to be a good parent. You know, like my little brother was my assignment, you know, growing up. And when I went off to college, it was just like, even then the relationship been in, it wasn't until recently, you know, recent years when, you know, he's 30-year-old man and I'm still thinking about like, is my little brother good? You know, everything that I had, like I could pour to him. And when it got to a point where I felt like I couldn't give to him, you know, and I actually had to I called on him and my sister when I needed support. And it was just like, yo, like, how did you? And he shared with me something that really rocked me. It was like, it's hard to see you like this, B. Like, and it's like,
We're all gonna
it's
struggle
nobody's
though.
fault. What's that?
We're all gonna struggle. We're promised that. And you came back from it the best I've seen anybody to date.
Let me work through this. Let me work through this moment right here.
Okay.
Because this is it. This is the um it was like I've been fighting as that little child to figure it out and work it out on my own, and sort of overlooking or ignoring the, like, I lost confidence in me. That's what it was. I lost confidence in me as that parent to take care of myself. I lost, like, and I was like, yo, how did I get here? And like I couldn't place the blame to say like I was misled, but that was the reality that I came to. Like all of the information that I had taken in from, from the people in the world around me, like misled me to this false sense of security. And even though, like, even growing up, my parents found a way, but we knew that, we weren't rich or wealthy. I don't ever feel like we were poor because we always had each other, right? But there were definitely things that we were denied. It felt like because of either there wasn't enough time or other resources, right? And I say, for example, this kind of gets into some of the other stuff. I don't want to stay too long in that space, but just a quick note is, I think about when I wanted to play sports, and I got four other siblings, and my parents had one vehicle. So we did the math. When they did the math, right, it was just like um, like I felt like those were the things that I sacrificed, doing the things that I wanted to do for the group, and that's the journey that I was on, going to college, and it was just like, because that's what they say I'm supposed to do, going out and getting a job for a career, because that's what I need to provide for, me and my partner, or whoever, or for my family at that point. Um, but never really getting that one-on-one attention focus. Like that's why I'm a so that's what I always needed, was somebody who could mentor me, who could guide me, who could see me and be able to, like, hey, Bakar, this is what I think was specifically, like, I needed a sniper on my six. You know what I mean? Somebody watching my back specifically to say, hey, I know all of what's going on around you. Like, I need to help you ignore that and really dial into you. And that's what coaching has done for me. It's helped me to exercise dialing into others. And this is really the first time that I've sat down with myself and dialed into me. Oh, perfect, perfect. I love it. Right here. You're right there, and I can feel the breakthrough coming on. So, what would you say are the things that what would you say is the thing that you need to do to focus on in order to rebuild that image, in order to rebuild that confidence in yourself, to take care of yourself, your basic needs, in order to show up, you know, for yourself, but also for those that you care about. It seems, because it seems like you really care a lot about the community, you care a lot about your partner, you care a lot about your family. What are some essential things that you can do, or you feel that you could start doing, in order to really feel confident in how you show up? Because it really seems like, man, a lot of people are dependent on you to show up in the way that you want to show up, and you're aware of it. You've got it in you. We want to help to push you over the hump. All right. Okay. So here's what I could do is first and foremost, like, to be intentional about my self image, right? Like to dress, with confidence, and in a way that is going to inspire me to want to even be attractive to me, right? Because I know without attraction, like nothing else is really going to fall. So like really for me to fall in love with not just this false image that I create, but to fall in love with the image that I'm intentional about creating. So maybe if it's a little extra time, styling my hair, like I just got my hair done. And it was just worth it. Right? Where's it doesn't matter. It was worth it because the alternative was looking raggedy. And I know that's not what the best version of me is going to be. It's not going to be raggedy. It's not what is it like celebrating this sort of gritty, grimy, I've been through it. ET says all the time, like, I was living in abandoned buildings to eat out of trash cans. I had no business doing that. And it's really the same thing. Like I got no business showing up without, um, my hairstyle or my teeth brush, or, nobody can smell me through the, but if you skip a shower or something like that. My fitness and exercise is regular. That's a huge part. It's just maintaining my health, maintaining my proportion, and not only feeling but seeing myself strong, and really just embracing and loving my body, inside and out. And the inside is the diet, the outside, the exercise and maintenance. So being really, really intentional about those pieces. Um, I think just doing those little pieces of work. Um, I'll be honest. I could look in the mirror and accept myself. Like, I'm not as concerned about anything else. Like, I know that my God will provide. Allah provide. He's provided me with a family to take care of me when I didn't have a chance on my own. So like, why would I? I know the logic of the reason. So I guess this is what I would say to the younger version of me who's out there scared. It's like, you know, I'm gonna take care of you. I will take care of you. And I will take care of you and give you the best of me each and every each and every day. I love it. I love it. That was, oh man, that was powerful. That was powerful. So get myself together for a second. Um, man, that was a powerful discovery call, or coaching call, and looking forward to doing, you know, more and more deep diving. Man, there's a whole lot we could pull out from this story, this conversation. I feel like with Picard, it's really, really dense. It's very dense because there's so many different pieces and parts. But at the core of it, it's you think about his journey of enlightenment, that his image is to be the best representative, the best model of his creator. And his sense of worth is very much tied to that. Um, but his level of work and effort was attached to external things. It's attached to what the people in the environment, the community, the society around him deemed was important, and not what he knew was important to him. And so, as Bakar moves forward, we're going to continue to encourage him to put that into your daily schedule, put that into your routine. Make sure that um, before every interaction, or every appointment, or whatever you do, is that you do a self-image check, right? How am I? Am I feeling good? Am I looking good? Do I, you know, is there anything I could do to improve the way I see, so that I feel the way I feel, so I look the way I feel on the inside? I said, what are those things you could do so that I look the way that I feel on the inside? That's going to allow you to really show up for others. And I'm telling you, people are going to be drawn to that. People are going to be very much attached to that. People are going to going to want to be around that because Picard's not the only one struggling with that, right? And you being able to be vulnerable and be honest and be able to admit and share with others in your community and, you know, on your social that your issue was your self-image. Your challenge was your self-image, right? And living in the gap, right? As opposed to making incremental steps, creating an individual daily habit of showing up as best you could in that image, right? That's what was snatched away, that you built this life on an image that wasn't of your own creation, that wasn't in alignment with your values. And so from here forward, you now have that power. From here forward, you will always be there, as you said, for that little version you, because um, you know, just like little children, you know, they don't style their hair like their parents often take care of those things for you. So you got to be there for you first, and everything else, you know, will fall into place around it. Okay, I can't do this no more. Oh, all right, Danielle, talk to me.
You did so good, bro. You
Oh my
did so
gosh,
good. Let me go grab both around here.
where we at? Where we gonna sit? Hold on, let me get some tissue. I need tissue.
Yeah.
Oh man. Excuse me. You can cut that out. All right. Whoa. All right. So I'm gonna have you do something for me if you got the time right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you first talk to Coach, and then I'm gonna have you talk to Picard.
Okay. All right.
All right. So first, your feedback for Coach.
Okay. Feedback for Coach. As per usual, you did a great job leading him through and out of the situation that could have potentially ended a call with him just stuck in the muck. Because when we have to go through those emotions and those feelings, sometimes when we're not led through them properly and we don't look at them, evaluate them, honor them, we've been through, and give clear direction on, okay, let's go ahead and how are we going to out of that? How are we going to use it? How are we going to all of the things? You did really good, as you always do. You're listening.
You break it up a little bit.
Okay. You did really great listening. Let me come in here, maybe it'll be better.
Yeah, I don't want to miss anything you have to say.
I'll grab my notes. And you always are really, really good at helping guide them into creating a system that will help whatever it is. So if that's a thought process, that's a thought process. If it's a tangible system, like you've helped us with, so that we can start things, complete things, whatever.
I didn't even catch that in the answer. Mm-hmm. That was just intuition to pull that together, like literally tangibly, like working on your image. That's crazy. That's exactly what I asked for. And asked me to ask for.
And the biggest thing that came to me right away is the how can you create a system to assess your progress in your growth, similar to our alignment system, to where you can, for what you're showing as an example, what you're displaying as an example to people, I think that would really help. So similar to our alignment system, where you can look at an alignment on how you're viewing yourself, on is it the same as last time you looked at it, what, hold on, because there's another piece I never wrote it down. You know, you can look at it and say, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of self-doubt. Did I give 120%? If I did, cool. I left it all on the floor, like done, walk away and pat yourself on the back. If not, what can I do to finish? Or next time, what can I do, depending on what the situation is? Next time, what can I do to make sure that I give 120%? You and I both have that, where if we feel like we even left 10% out, we tend to beat ourselves up a little bit. And it doesn't even mean that we intentionally leave stuff out. It just happens sometimes, you know, we might overlook something or whatever, you know? So what kind of system can you set up to be able to do that, you know? To be able to do like a self-check, because what I noticed, hold on, because I'm gonna try to keep this separate for Coach and Bakar.
I was gonna say, yeah, let me know when you're done with Coach, so I can switch seats.
Right. Last thing for Coach is, this really hit me, bro. If you can counsel yourself, there's nobody we can't help. Nobody. If you can bring yourself to breakthrough, there's nobody we can't help. That's so powerful. I don't even know if you realize how powerful this just was. Like, did you help yourself? Yes, you sure did. Did you come to breakthrough? Yep, sure did. But you just opened a whole treasure box of the future of coaching for us in H2G. Because that's the hardest, to be able to see, self-assess and see what the things are that are maybe holding us back, what our blind spots are, whatever, anything that has to do with ourself is the hardest. It's always easier to see others, you know? And then it's easier when others are telling us what they see within us, you know? So just to be able to do what you just did, man, I've never in my life have I A, seen that, or B, I have not a lick of doubt that if we both give 120 into all of this, like that 1.2 million might be undershot. Might be undershot.
That's good to know.
Okay, Bakar, switch your seat.
Oh man.
All right.
I feel like a champion.
You should. So you kept saying self-image, but it really is a lot of self-doubt. However, you've proved to yourself over and over, let's say in this last, 6 months you've been doing H2G, if we clock your own growth in these last 6 months, that could wipe clean all of the mistakes that you did in your past. Because not only have you shown up for yourself, you've done it intentionally and you've done it consistently, and you are displaying what real change looks like. You're already doing it. And I know that we were just kind of discussing this last night, that in leadership, sometimes we don't know how people are seeing us. We don't know if we're doing a good job. We're being encouraging and inspiring and all of the things. But sometimes those that we're leading, it helps for them to say, I appreciate you. You're doing a great job. This really means a lot to me. And I know with a handful of people that continually show up each night, that's why, you know, we see this young man to most of us who is such a great man with the biggest heart and the biggest intentions to help us through our BS and our muck so that we can walk in greatness too, right there with you. that's something that's unparalleled to anything we've ever experienced, which is why we keep coming back. Um, let's see here. I wrote
I'm
this
really
was a
glad that
little
you were here for this.
little me too, bro. Um, Holy Spirit led, he was saying, remind yourself that you were made just so on purpose to be able to perform at your best. No one else is. You can't be the best that anyone else thinks you should be, how they perform, how anything. It's only your best. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of you not putting in a 120. There was the only thing I could ever pinpoint would be the month where your family needed you more. So H2D had to pause for a second in our meetings and our this and our that. That's it. You're always there for us, which means you're always there for you. And it's important to you that you come back to us with your wins, with your growth, that your accountability changes up because you've conquered what you needed to conquer with that. That's something that you're very consistent as well. And he also said, like, to remember that other people's opinions can't rule your self opinion. And if you're looking at your own self doubt, your own self opinion and perspective, then try to look at it through the eyes of the community that you've created. Because as much as you love us, that's how we feel about you. There are no there are no there are no weaknesses that cannot be changed if you truly is something like, hey, I think I really want to work on this. Cool. Because as soon as you write it down and you make time on the schedule for it, done. It's that simple. Um, let's see. Um, when you were talking about the food insecurities, I had that same thing as a kid. And I found that led to a lot of overeating as an adult, and teaching myself that food is going to be there if I'm hungry again in a few hours or tomorrow or whatever, that
Hmm.
somebody's not going to eat it. I'm not going to lack. That not only am I providing for myself, but God forbid if I wasn't able to, for whatever reason, like these last 2 months I've been going through, where I don't know where my next dollar is coming from. Like, I literally just was able to get my first H2G check from PayPal because they were holding it for so long. I didn't know I didn't know where anything was going to come from. And God kept showing me, like you were saying over and over again, that every time I humble myself and say it is what it is, I know He's got it. And in His time, He would bless me out of the woodworks. And so, God forbid that something happens and your income isn't to where you could go and buy the things that are nutritionally valued for your body, then you have family that could. Nobody's going to make you eat crappy food or no food. You know what I mean? And that family's not just blood family, it's us now too. Because I know that if I ever, or anybody else ever came and said, guys, I don't know how to buy groceries, I don't know how I'm going to do that. You want to tell me that this community wouldn't step in and be like, I got 5 on it, I got 10 on it, you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about that anymore. As well as Aisha, she's not going to let you go without either, or sacrifice your health just to eat cheaper. So the amount of growth that you yourself have done in these 6 months can wipe clean all of that dust that has been left from the past. You can clean it up, clean it out. And now you can realize that within yourself that you are the leader that you've been striving to be. Your image is being seen the way you want it to be seen, if not more so. That you are a highly respected, much loved, much sought out individual, that as soon as there's more marketing, if you will, as soon as there's more content out, as soon as the world becomes more aware, there's going to be more people coming in here. You know, Tia says it almost every night that she just can't believe how much she gets from each one of us in the group. You know, this is something that you have a handful, which was more, but you have a handful of people that were completely different in professionally, personally, spiritually, whatever. We were all different and we all have made such growth. And you did it right there with us,
I love it. And
right
this
there
is
with us.
me and Coach. To write a note, Danielle, is that we're gonna set out a
Okay.
community challenge that we wanna increase by 20 members. It is something that everybody could be a part of,
Yeah.
that everybody can share in as well. So everybody that
Hmm.
you tell, everybody that you introduce, everybody that you invite to a community call, who has a chance to have a discovery call with, with us, will add to the growth of that community.
We need to definitely start pushing community days, a lot more because the more that people see it, I even made a comment on TikTok, no joke, the other day where this girl she started learning one new TikTok dance a day for weight loss purposes. She was almost to the point of immobility. She was so large and she lost
Mm,
like 70 pounds and then fell off of the habit that she created and put 40 on just like that. And then jumped back into it, reassessed, and I even said, maybe a community of like-minded individuals would benefit you. It's completely free to come see what we do and see what we're about. Let me know if you're interested.
absolutely.
These seeds that we're dropping everywhere are going to become these great trees that are going to provide shade, they're going to provide protection, they're going to provide strength, they're going to provide food, all the things. And I said to you in the beginning, this is far bigger than anything that you could have imagined, that this will far outlive you. We know that the things that ET has done is going to outlive him for fact because he's a great man. He's a man, he's a human, but he's a great man and he puts himself in check and he sacrifices for his family and for the people that he helps every single day. And that's who you model after. That's who you strive to be like. I don't see any fault there. I can
Mm,
see where your perspective on your family has changed. It was so daunting to you at first. You didn't want to be there. You didn't want to be stuck in that room. You didn't want all of these things. And now you just light up anytime you talk about any family member or that they
I'll
had
be
to
like, I'm
call you
not,
because they needed you. That makes you happy.
yeah, and I'm gonna miss that room. Not that much because I love changing my environment in order to change my habits and grow. But I'm on the nostalgia.
Right.
I'm gonna miss that room. Like, oh man, back when we was in those
Mm-hmm.
pink walls and with the painting.
Yep. And the
So,
painting. Yep. And then you said, you know what? I need to change my environment a little. I'm gonna set it up, and you changed it. Flip the camera, set your little desk up, get your awards behind you. Because whether you wanted to realize it or not, you were patting yourself on the back. Hey, Bakar, you've done some things. Good job, bro. I'm proud of you. And sometimes we do that without acknowledging that we're congratulating ourselves. And sometimes we need to do just that. I'm proud of you. Look at all you have done. So what? You've tripped and fallen and, skinned up your knees. They healed, didn't they? You dusted yourself off, didn't you? And then some. You sure did. You sure did. Yep. So I'm really proud of you. You should be proud of you too.
so guess who's going
I
next?
can tell that there's a lot. I know, and I will
Yeah.
say that I'm not as fearful now that I saw now that I saw how it is done. But and also it's just for the better of H2G, for the better of us to be able to be the best coaches that we can, no matter where that takes us, to better ourselves for our clients. So I'm willing to take that hot seat for all of that.
Well, you know my
But
win for
yeah,
the day. We did it.
I do. I do. I
We
do.
did it.
Not only did you put yourself
And
in the seat, but you also had a huge breakthrough. Big realizations. I can feel the weight off of you, so you should be proud of yourself.
I'm sorry, I missed the last
I'm
one you
very
said.
proud of you, bro. I was saying that I can feel that the weight has been lifted off. A great weight has been lifted off. Like you were able to take a weighted vest off that you've been wearing for years and years and years. And now you can breathe a little easier and you can move a little easier and you can think a little clearer and you can just say, man, I did that. I did that. And I said that you should be proud of yourself, and I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We're going to close it out there because I am being called. But thank you. Thank you so much for witnessing this. I'm looking forward to, man, we got to cut this up and put this out there,
Yeah.
man. We gotta put this out there.
You're so very welcome. Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you, sister.
You're very welcome.
I'll
I
talk with you
love you,
soon.
bro, and I'll see you later. All right,
Love
bye-bye.
you. Peace. All right. And that's all, folks.